Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on your toes. Hi.
Dababy was on North Carolina property when a man was SHOT for trespassing, police say. Rapper Dababy was at a North Carolina home Wednesday when a person trespassing was shot. The Trotman Police Department said a 26-year-old man allegedly climbed the fence surrounding the property and was shot. According to an incident report from the police department, no charges were filed in the shooting as of Thursday night. According to a CNN affiliate of WSOC, the person was shot on a football field outside of a mansion belonging to Dababy, whose real name is Jonathan Kirk. Although police did not confirm to CNN that Dababy owns the home, they said he was present when the shooting occurred. Trotman police did not release the name of the shooter. I can confirm the shooting did not occur inside the residence and that Mr. Kirk was on the property, Police Chief Josh Watson told CNN in an email. Watson said the investigation is in an ongoing status and he was not able to provide any further information. Around 8 p.m. Eastern Time as of Wednesday, police arrived at the residence and found a man suffering from a non-life-threatening wound, TPD said in a statement. The victim was transported to Iredell County EMS to a medical facility to treat his injury, the statement said. A manager for the rapper declined to comment Thursday. The 8-time Grammy-nominated rapper is a North Carolina native. At this point, there is no one named as the suspect that decided to pow this person that was allegedly trespassing. And when I say allegedly, it's because this happened in a football field next to Dababy's estate. So it's not like Dababy, this altercation happened on his property. It was not. From what they gather, it was on the football field next to his property line. Dababy does not own the property of the football field. That does not belong to him. So with this incident taking place there, I don't see how they're basically stating that he was standing his ground when in order to stand your ground, it has to be on your property. This technically is not Dababy's property. So I don't know if he was just feeling froggy and wanted to pow this individual, but from what I'm gathering, there was really no reason for it because once again, this was not on Dababy's property. If you also pay attention to the news articles, they cannot also prove that Dababy owns the estate. So in order to stand your ground, the property has to belong to you. Not that you're living there, not that this is your home, but it's in somebody else's name or anything like that. It has to be your property so that they could put 2 and 2 together, meaning you have a license to carry and you also have a permit to have a weapon in your home. So if anybody tries to come on your property, especially that is trespassing, you have the right to bear arms on your property. You are not allowed to do that anywhere else besides a residence that you own. And once again, it did not happen on the property or on the property line. It happened next to the property line. So I don't understand again how Dababy would have been protecting his home and standing his ground. How can you do that on public property? So we will get more into that as this goes, but let's keep going. Dababy does not say anything before this incident is taken care of. So when the police came and they got the incident report and they removed the man from the property that was there on the football field, basically, on the property, when they removed him with the EMSs, after that, once the police left, pretty much that next day, Dababy comes forward and announces himself as the person who pow-powed the individual. So let's get into that. Dababy confirms himself as the person who pow-powed the individual who allegedly was trespassing on a property next to his estate. Friday on Instagram, he shared a clip of Cameron's classic paid in full line, NIGGAs get SHOT every day. B, you'll be all right. NIGGA, you tough, right? Dababy captioned the post, chose not to take an NIGGA life the other day and it felt great. Buddy ain't deserved to go. I step righteously. Heal up and live, my boy. Just don't bring your ASS back. So once again, Dababy, sidestep. If he was truly trespassing on your property, why would you come forward and say that he didn't deserve that if that's the reason you pow-powed him in the first place? You choosing not to end his life had nothing to do with you harming him in the first place if there was just some type of misunderstanding. If someone is on a football field, which is public property, it does not belong to Dababy. If they're curious and jumping over things and stuff like that, if it's not literally on your property line, I don't feel that there's no reason for you to pow that individual. Call the police. If you're going to go out there questioning them, especially, why just go out there and just pow? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And there is rumor, well, not necessarily rumor, there is proof that Dababy had a conversation with this individual before the pow happened. So if you felt like you could walk up to this person, talk to this person, and all of this other stuff, then why did you feel the need to pow him? Wouldn't you have done that on site if you truly felt that this was a threat on you or the people that were in or at your home at the time? It just feels like you wanted to do that just because this gangster persona that you're trying to lead. I mean, you've already taken a life from a young black man in a Walmart. I mean, do you get off on it? Like, I'm confused in why you did it in the first place. If you chose to engage this person at all, I would understand this person being on your property line. You coming outside, you're a celebrity. You don't know who this person is. So you use your right to bear arms, and that's exactly what you do instead of coming forward, basically bragging about it. Like, you're saying that, oh, I chose not to take his life and it felt great. Like, what are you talking about? None of that had to happen in the first place. You did it because you wanted to, not because you had to. Once again, why approach someone you feel is an immediate threat? Why not just pow them right away? Proof that Dababy had a conversation with the intruder before the pow took place. TMZ, citing law enforcement sources, wrote that the Better Than You artist exchanged words with an intruder and then SHOT the man in the leg. He reportedly then called 911 and was cooperative with police when they arrived. So once again, Dababy had words with this man. If you're willing to walk up and talk to them, why not just call the police? Why walk up to him, have a conversation, and then decide to pow him when you could have called the police, came outside, asked him why he was on your property, and if there was an issue after that, then hey, bear arms, do what you need to do, stand your ground. You have that right, especially if it's on your property. It's not on Dababy's property, and we're going to get into that too. They just keep giving him special treatment when he's going around here hurting and injuring people, all because of this mental issue that he has with law. Like, he feels that he is truly above the law. This man has taken a life, a black life, and is still free. He got off scot-free after taking a life. How do you once again stand your ground in Walmart? Because he basically tried to same defense that it was self-defense. So if he would have took this person's life, this alleged intruder, if he would have took their life, how is that self-defense? Especially if you're willing to walk up and have a conversation with this individual like you knew this person. Clearly you didn't. You took the law in your own hands by going out there and still pow-powing him. You did that deliberately. The only reason Dababy called the police is because he knew that he had to. That's the only reason. That otherwise he would have left him right there. And you can tell that by the police call. Dababy could have cared less about this individual's life and then tries to go on Instagram after saying, "Hail up," and I live righteously. How so? Look at how minimal he made this person's life in this 911 call. Let's get into that and I'll come back with my commentary.
Can you repeat that phone number for me?
135. I did not know my number with this guy sitting here screaming.
Okay. And what's going on there?
The guy trespassing on my property. Here he is.
Sir, what did you do?
I shot him in his leg.
Okay. And why did you do that?
He's trespassing on my property, calling me by my name. I don't know what he's here for, what he's here to take, what he's here to do. But
Okay.
He's shot
Are
his
you with
leg.
him now?
He's neutralized until you guys get here.
Sir, are you with him now?
He's right here in front of me.
Okay. Is he awake?
Well, on the football field on my property.
Sir, is he awake?
Yes. Do you hear him?
Is he breathing?
Yes. He stopped.
Okay.
And his leg.
Just stay on line with me, okay?
Okay, yeah. Come on, like about to die. Yeah. Come on the football field.
Any serious bleeding?
Yeah. He stopped like in his lower thigh. Yeah.
Sir, is there any serious bleeding?
I said yes, bro.
Okay. Is he completely alert?
Is he what?
Is he completely alert?
Do you hear him? Do you not hear this man, bro?
Sir, I'm asking you, is he completely alert?
Yeah, I can't hear you repeating every question that you ask him because he's over here screaming, bro. Like, y'all just get somebody here. And tell them when they pull up to try to hit the sirens or something so I can know to open the gate.
Alright, is there more than one wound?
Say what?
Is there more than one wound?
All I see is one individual. I don't know if he got somebody with him. I don't know. We have no way of knowing that. But in order for him to get here, he had to jump over a fence and everything.
Okay, where's your firearm, sir?
Right here in my hand.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to secure your firearm, sir. Sir.
It's secure.
Sir.
It's secure. I told you it's secure. I'm not putting it down with this trespass right here on my property. I'm not doing it. I don't know who he got with him.
I understand that, sir, but I
I'm
need
talking
to
about.
secure
I have to let the police in the gate anyway, but I don't know who he got with him, what he came in for, but he's already an acre on my property. And he had to trespass with somebody else's property to even get on my property. Hello?
Yes, sir, I need you to stay on the line with me.
Okay, come on. I'm trying to go get my other phone, and I got to open up the gate with it. I got to do one or the other. I got to get somebody here.
Okay. And can you just tell me what happened?
I already told you what happened.
I understand you said he's trespassing. I need to know the events leading up to this.
I still got to look out for somebody who might be with this guy. I don't got time to play this.
All right, sir. So you don't want to cooperate? Okay.
Things to pay attention to during this 911 call. Notice how Dababy could care less about the intruder, although he went on to Instagram and made it seem like, oh, I care about you, heal up, rest up, you didn't deserve blah, blah, blah. But you can tell when the dispatcher is asking him standard questions about the alleged intruder that Dababy could care less about his health, safety, any of those things. It's like, well, don't you hear him? He's behind, in the background screaming. Like, I mean, you don't hear that. I can't answer any of your questions because he's sitting here screaming. You're asking me if he is responsive and things in that nature. It's like, you don't hear him. That's not a dumb question because once again, he has not told the full story. They don't know if it was just one person, if it's two, is there anybody else that's there? Somebody, also approaching. Does he have a weapon? Did he approach you with a weapon? There's questions that they have to ask so they can let the police know when they approach. If Dababy is the only one with the weapon, that's information that she needs. Like the only way to get it is by asking. Dababy feels like, oh, don't ask me any questions, just show up. Like, yeah, no. We need to know what's going on before the police get there. Before they infiltrate, we need to know what they are infiltrating. Dababy also says that he is on the football field. If you listen back to this 911 call, he says that he is on the football field. That is not his property. He is telling them that this intruder, alleged intruder, had to go to multiple properties to get to his. Like he had to go on somebody else's property just to get here. The football field does not belong to Dababy. Why are you on public property stating you have an intruder? That does not make sense. sense. If I go to a public park right now, I don't get to pow somebody because the public park is right next to my home, because the football field is right next to my home, the baseball field or tennis court. If that is my land, meaning the only way that you can get on this property is by going through me, then that means that I have a right to bear arms. You do not have the right to bear arms on public property. That's another reason why the 911 call is very confusing, because he keeps saying, y'all need to get here. I need to open the gate so that y'all can get in here. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute. Are you on your property? Like, is this happening in your backyard, or is this the football field? The football field does not belong to him. That's why the call is confusing, because he is talking to the 911 dispatcher as if this assailant, the intruder, is literally on his property, in his backyard, anything like that. No, he is on the football field, which is public property, but Dababy keeps stating, my land, my property. You need to come get him from my home, my residence. No, this is not your residence. You do not live on the football field. You allegedly own the estate, and the estate is next to the football field. I want you really beam that into your brain that literally this altercation is not happening on his property. It is public property. And once again, we're going to get into that. The police dispatcher also told Dababy that he needs to retire his firearm before the police get there. And if you notice, this is around the time that Dababy hangs up on the 911 dispatcher. One, you are not allowed to hang up on a 911 dispatcher, especially if you can help it. You are supposed to stay on the line until police are there. That is when the phone call ends and you pick up with the police, because they want to record basically everything during the emergency call. Dababy hangs up with the dispatcher because he wanted to keep his weapon out. Plain and simple. If she's telling you to remove your weapon, remove it. He did not hang up on her before she requested he retire the weapon. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to keep it out like he is law enforcement. You are not. You have already subdued this alleged intruder. There's no reason for you to be out there holding a weapon on him, because you don't want them to pull up and the energy turns on you. Meaning you are out there with a weapon, wailing it around, and the police get there and they don't know that you're not the assailant. You are actually the homeowner. So to get rid of any confusion, or so that your life is safe, so that you are good, just get rid of the weapon, especially if he's on the ground screaming, wailing. He is not mobile. You SHOT'd him in the leg. So it's not like he can get up and run or get up and attack you. And that is possible. What if he did get up, even being injured, and remove the weapon from you, and now the police pull up, they are coming on your property, and he's standing there with the weapon, and they have no idea that you are actually the homeowner. So just to get rid of all of that, so that nothing bad happens, just don't have the weapon out. But Dababy feels that he is above the law. So I'm going to hang up on you. I'm going to keep my weapon out. I'm going to do all of that because I have the right to do these things. No, you do not. Which is also confusing, with the police stating in the incident report after all of this was taken care of that Dababy was very compliant. How? Even the 911 dispatcher says on the phone that Dababy is being non-compliant. You are not listening. Why are you not doing that? Instead of giving me a hard time, I'm trying to help you, but instead you're on the phone giving me attitude. You're not answering questions. There's a lot of stuff that he's doing that he shouldn't do. You're basically obstructing justice within this moment in time, and we're trying to help you. You call us. And while you call us, you think you get to give us attitude because we have standard questions when people call? You're not hurt, you're not injured. So that means that you can answer these questions, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Dababy's acting like he's the one on the ground that's injured on the phone with the police, and I can't answer these questions because I'm bleeding out and things in that nature. That's not what's going on. You don't like the police, Dababy. He doesn't like the police. So of course he's going to give them attitude. You can hear it all in his throat. So I just didn't understand it. Like, how are they saying he's being compliant when the 911 dispatcher herself says that he's being difficult? Here is further proof that this intruder was not SHOT'd on Dababy's property. Let's get into this. Troutman, North Carolina. A person was SHOT on a football field outside rapper Dababy's Troutman home Wednesday night. I want to read that again. A person was SHOT on a football field outside rapper Dababy's Trotman home Wednesday night. Now, side note, Dababy does not own a football field. There is no property line that specifies the beginning or end of that field that belongs to Dababy. This football field is not in Dababy's backyard. So once again, how is this an intruder? How is he intruding on public property? Even if, say, the intruder jumped Dababy's fence and then was to jump back over the fence to get back on the property line of public property, Dababy still does not have the right to pow that individual. You don't get to pow somebody that is leaving your premises. He did not pow the person in the leg over the fence as they were. No, none of that happened. It happened on the football field, meaning that it did not happen on Dababy's property. How is this standing your ground? It's no different than with Trayvon Martin. When Zimmerman followed him and pow-powed him, he was not doing it on his property. It was down the street. Zimmerman does not own the block, okay? He owned his home, and it did not happen there. So with Trayvon, even if Trayvon was on his property and Trayvon decides to leave the premises and walk away, if Zimmerman was not going to pow him while he was on his property, he had no reason to pow him at all. There was no reason for it. Why are you walking down the street? At this point in time, you are now doing the police job and going after this assailant. That is not for you to do. So for Dababy, even if that person, like I said, was on his property and then left his property and went back onto the football field, you don't have the right to pursue him. Just like Zimmerman did not have the right to pursue Trayvon. It's not okay. Let the police do their job. But there's more. According to authorities, a third person on the property was SHOT on the football field outside Dababy's mansion. The victim's identity has not been released, but they are being treated at a Charlotte hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, when Dababy had this 911 call, did you ever hear anything about a third party being involved? Dababy made it seem like he was standing outside by himself. That's why he couldn't go and get his other phone. That's why he couldn't get rid of his weapon. You know, he had to open the gate for the police, basically making it seem like he had to do everything on his own when there was someone there with him. 9 times out of 10, Dababy's bodyguard. If your bodyguard is present, like, what is he doing? This is crazy. Like, this makes no sense. Why didn't the bodyguard take care of this individual that was intruding your home, allegedly, although this happened on a football field that Dababy does not own? Why was this third party not being brought up? Once again, why did the police say that Dababy was being extremely cooperative when he never even told the dispatcher that there was a third party? He never says anything about anybody else being there. He makes it seem as if he is doing all of these things alone. I found the intruder. I subdued the intruder. I did all of that by myself. I can't even go and get my other phone or get rid of my firearm or anything like that because I'm the only one here. He never states at any point in time that he was not alone. There are several no trespassing signs around Dababy's property. There's a significantly tall concrete wall surrounded by on the other side. A high chain link fence, Chief Josh Watson said, "No, it's like any other property owner. He's entitled to his rights to secure their property and make sure nobody comes in." North Carolina stand your ground law applies to the home you live in, not necessarily people's property. A law enforcement source told Channel 9 that the way the law is written, the person who uses lethal force must believe there is a threat of death or serious bodily harm. Side note, so the law protects you if you feel, especially if you're going to use lethal force, is if you are being threatened of your life or serious bodily harm. Okay, Dababy approached this person. How are you in fear if you are approaching them? That's what I said. I don't understand why he wouldn't just pow him right away. Why are you walking up talking to him if you feel that this is an immediate threat? If you feel that this person is trying to harm you, take your life, or anything like that, why would you approach it with conversation instead of just approaching it with a pow? That doesn't make sense. Even Dababy said that the person called him by his government name. He didn't call him Dababy. He called him Jonathan. Another thing, you do not have to own the home in order for stand your ground to come in for you as a reason of you having to use lethal force. You can be a home renter, you could be on the deed, as long as your name is somewhere on there, as you are a resident of this place. Stand your ground applies to you with the other necessary precautions taking place, like having a license for your weapon being registered, all that good stuff. So with Dababy, the issue that comes in with the law enforcement, this is another reason why I feel like they're protecting him, is because they couldn't even identify if this was Dababy's home, meaning that when they type in that address, other names pop up before Dababy. So I don't know if it's in like a record label, if they have it in their name, or if his team has it in their name. I don't know. All I know is that when the police typed in that address, Jonathan Kirk was not the name that popped up. So that is a part of the investigation that was still ongoing in the beginning of this process, is identifying, is this even his home? Like, does he own this place? Does he even live here? Or is he just over here visiting? Like, they don't know. So they have to make sure of those things so that this stand your ground can apply to Dababy. So it's like they just let it apply to him immediately just because of his celebrity status and because of the lawyers and people that he is affiliated with. Because once again, this did not happen on Dababy's literal property. It did not happen there. That's how you know that they are protecting Dababy. And I'm also going to show you other ways that they are protecting him as well. Channel 9 Sky Zoom flew over the mansion Thursday morning, and security could be seen around the home, including a security car parked in the driveway for hours. The home is located on more than 8.5 acres of land, and the property is valued at nearly $2.3 million. That much property being in Troutman, you just got to be a fool to touch Dababy. You just got to be. Troutman resident Anthony McCullough said, "At this point, no charges have been filed against the alleged trespasser." The Iredell District Attorney's Office said it could not comment on a pending investigation. Just to be clear, because a lot of people were confused, they're like, well, the football field is like right behind this house. There's even pavement that leads up to it. It's still not his property. That means that he has access to it. You see that swimming pool? That is his. That belongs to him. That is on his property. Just because you own acres does not mean everything you see is owned by that individual. Meaning that the trees and everything you see in the background and stuff like that, that could be a part of what he owns. But the lot in between, that does not mean that it belongs to him. So if I buy 10 acres worth of land, those acres can be divided. Meaning that this area, there are parts of this area that I own. I don't own the entire area, because some people don't understand how acres work. You hear 8.5, you feel like anything that's in the 8.5 radius within the acres of the home means that Dababy owns it. No, it does not. That football field does not belong to him. So technically, it could be looked at as public property unless you are the owner of said property. So if you type in this football field, it has an owner. And from what I gather, Troutman owns that football field, not Dababy. So the city of Troutman owns the football field, not Dababy. Look it up. There you go again, protecting Dababy. Why is this trespasser not arrested? Why is this trespasser not getting charges, especially as public as this is? If he was truly on Dababy's property, there would be no reason to not file charges. There would be no reason. If Dababy is going to pow this intruder, why would Dababy even himself not press charges on this intruder? It does not make any sense, especially because even if you as the victim, which allegedly Dababy would be the victim of a home intruder, why would the state not pick up those charges even if Dababy decided to drop them if they felt as strongly that he truly was an intruder? I feel like they're not bringing charges up on him because, once again, it happened on public property. Out of all 8.5 acres, that football field does not apply. Dababy does not own that football field, and that's why I believe that there has been no charges pressed against this individual. This whole case is public because an intruder came on the property. Why would he not be being charged? That literally makes no sense. So y'all go through all of this publicized case just to bring up no charges? How does that make the people in that community feel safe if there was an alleged intruder on someone's property that they have to subdue and there's nothing being done about it? There's no charges being pressed. He's not being arrested. How do they know that this same person won't come back and try to do whatever the baby is alluding that he was in the process of doing anyway? It just makes no sense. I think that they're doing this just so the baby can get off, just like the whole case with Walmart. I do. I feel that they are protecting him because it doesn't make any sense. Why aren't there any charges on this person? Why are people calling him a victim if he's an intruder? They say the victim is at a Charlotte hospital. Why is he a victim? You mean the intruder? What? Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this. I think that Dababy strong-armed somebody because he likes the imagery. He likes people hearing that he are pow-powing people, that he's doing these gangster things and stuff like that. I think that he likes that imagery, and he has gotten away with it more than once. I mean, he's taken a life. He has physically assaulted women and, you know, men, and no different than when he attacked Danny Lay's brother. He's just fine, no charges, you know, or anything like that. I just feel like they're putting him above the law because of the people that he's involved with, the lawyers, the record label. When you have money, you have power, and Dababy should not be above those things just because he is a celebrity. So let me know how you feel in the chat. Let me know how you feel underneath the video. If this is a playback for you, make sure you like and subscribe. I love you all, and until the next video, bye.